Hello there, it's a beautiful morning. The program is Morning Safari, coming to you live from the studio of the Nigerian Television Authority. We are here again to give you entertainment, education, and information. Those things will make your life better. You don't want to miss any part of this program because this is the one-stop program that you just need to watch every Saturday and of course every Wednesday. So welcome on board. Hitting the ground running, we're going to be giving you updates of the news, highlight of the news over the week, and of course we'll come back to the studio to review our national dailies. Don't forget also that we will celebrate the world of our beautiful, as usual. That's what we do, and some schools are actually doing well by you just hooking us. They just join us this moment just for that their beautiful kids, because that piece is meant for them. We'll also receive our guest in the studio today. It's a lot of fascinating package. I tell you this morning that you don't just want to miss any part of. So speaking of harmony, a few days ago the world set aside a day specifically tagged International Day for people living together, or of people living together in peace. And there's a specific one particular nation, not in the Asian world or in the US or maybe the Western world. Actually, it is here in Africa, setting an example, a precedence. The name of that nation is Somaliland. Let's get to see how they've been faring, living together in peace for the world to emulate, and then we'll be back in the studio.
Somaliland, a small but fast-growing self-declared nation in East Africa that lies in northwestern Somalia on the southern coast of the Gulf of Aden, Djibouti to the northwest, and Ethiopia to the south and west, with approximately 4 million residents. Having Hargeisa as its capital, Somaliland broke away from Somalia on the 18th of May 1991, and since then, the territory has been governed by democratically elected government that seeks international recognition as the government of the Republic of Somaliland. The nation, no doubt, over the past 2 decades since independence, has been living together in peace and harmony, regardless of colors, tribes, religions, and cultural backgrounds, setting precedents and example for the whole of Africa and the world in general. Even though the country is still struggling to gain her recognition among the international community, it has proven to the world to be the only country in the Horn Africa that has been able to sustain peace, security, and democratic transition 28 years ago. It is coincident, however, that as the world marks International Day of Living Together in Peace, Somaliland also celebrates our independence anniversary in grand style. As the nation celebrates her 28th independence anniversary, African nations and indeed the world at large should emulate the best example. Somaliland no doubt deserves speedy and appropriate world recognition, not only as a nation state but also as the ambassadors of people living together in peace.
That's an example for not just Africa here, but for the world in general. Now, International Day of People Living Together in Peace is such a day that must be set aside and celebrated across the globe. How do we, enlive this concept of people living together in peace? We have with us in the studio this morning a peace and conflict resolution specialist or expert, I would say. Our guest this morning is a special assistant on conflict resolution to the executive governor of Kwara State. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me on set, Umar Balogun. It's a pleasure having you this morning.
It's a pleasure. Nice meeting you.
I can see elements of peace radiating on your face. Is it a state of mind?
Well, I would say it's just a decision.
A decision.
To just make myself to be happy. It's a choice.
Now, a day set aside for people or of people living together in peace. It is one thing that the world needs actually. Every nation needs it. Every society needs it. What is the significance of this day? Let's just start from there.
Well, thank you for having me on this program today. I would like to also join all Nigerian on this special day of people living together in peace. It's a very fantastic idea, and I think it's a very special day which we need to really understand the concept. It is not just on May so day or April so day, but the most important day is for us to be reminded that we need to live together in peace. Not just living together. We need not to live together even as a neighbor, but we need to live together as a people that were born together, so that we'll be able to have a comparative peace in our environment. Because there's no choice. We just have to live together so that we'll be able to propel our day-to-day activities. When we talk about the economic activities, we look at the spiritual activity, just as what we are observing at the moment. So we all need the peace to put ourselves together as one nation.
What does a society, a community, a nation, the world gain from this concept of living together in peace?
One of the critical things that we all gain is a good governance.
Good governance.
You see, when we choose to live together in a peace, let me use the word choose. Is that
because you said earlier on that it's a matter of decision.
It's just a matter of decision.
So we choose to
yes, we choose to live together, and we must have a deliberate decision that we want to live together, not for anything. Number one, for good governance and a sustainable development. Because if we remove the word peace, we can have a good development, we can have a good governance. Good governance also translates to good development and all that. When you look at infrastructure and economic prosperity in our society, can only be achieved when we live in peace. Because sincerely, what we're actually fighting for just one issue, but different approach. We have a different approaches to a single issue. It's just one issue. Things happen, and you have a different approach to solve that particular issue. And I have my own approach too. At the end of the day, I'll pursue the own approach, or you pursue my own approach. But what we are fighting for is just a single thing. So that is why we must be very careful. We must look at ourselves as one entity, and we must look at our people who want to, who want to be impactful in our society, the very peaceful way. Because those are the things, by not living together in peace, we will be depriving ourselves or depriving our generation. That's a disadvantage.
Our generation,
yes,
the generation yet unborn.
Because number one, we will have destroyed some of the system that they ought to have made on ground. We made some, we made some structure, but it has been destroyed because of greediness. And what we do often is to engage in a character assassination by fake news, most especially the social media. We carry news. That's why I always encourage people that when you want authentic news, you have to compare the source. What are the source? We have the source, which is a national news agency of Nigeria or something now. Those are the source.
Or NTA.
Those are the news. Those are the source. We need to look at the real media. The real media gives us the authentic news, not the social media where you need to look at.
When someone can just
you need to look
down.
at the perception. You need to look at why is he writing it, what is the motive behind it. So is he on the basis of the political? Is he on the basis of a personal thing, just to bring the social person down? So those are the things that translate to conflict.
Okay.
Because when we look about the conflict, you know, we often neglect some critical aspect of conflict. And number one, we have a communal conflict, and we also have a managerial conflict. What you'll be battling here is a managerial conflict. And what we witness in outside of the studio or outside of the office arrangement of market are communal conflicts. And a communal conflict, what it does is a total distraction to any government in Nigeria or in the world, not just in Nigeria. Because if you look at amount of effort, amount of investment that the government and the federal and some states,
just government
as what they are putting on just to maintain peace is enough to build a lasting and a sustainable infrastructure that could last up to 100 years.
But when there is conflict,
but when there is conflict, we spend
or clash.
Once there is a conflict, we spend it within just 1 week. No benefit, no result, and it does not end there. So that is why there must be, you know, strategy. It is not about bullet and gun. No, we must look at the strategies on how do we tackle these contemporary security challenges confronting our nations today. Because every state in Nigeria has one challenge or the other.
Okay.
And it is just one issue, just as I said. But it depends on how we manage it, that not translate into something that becomes unmanageable. So there must be
okay. How then can we foster, you know, peaceful coexistence in the event of different issues, you know, national issues, conflicts between one particular tribe to another, one community to another, you know, political unrest. Some people, you know, just like you've rightly said, character assassination. This one is attacking this. Some people instigating one community or one tribe against another in the name of politics. How do we foster, you know, peaceful coexistence amongst the people of the nation?
Well, I think maturity also comes to play. Maturity in the sense that we need to look at what do we actually want.
Okay.
This is number one. And when you're looking at how do we foster, you know, peaceful coexistence in our environment,
okay,
then we need to look at what is the motive behind the conflict itself.
Okay.
That's number one. And the second thing again is that those who ferment trouble, they are very few. And those of us who love peace,
okay.
those of us who bear the consequences of it, at times we allow the few to take control of our environment, rather than all of us concentrating on one particular thing and first the focus on what we're doing, on what we're seeing, then somebody just come and give us a distraction. And that is why if you look at the communal, some of this is a communal conflict about this ethnicity. Even in the Quran, it says that no tribe is better than another. That's number one. So by the time we all understand that, you know, we are being created by one God, and no one is created by lesser God. And I think we begin to reason as normal human being. And I have said it, you know, that one of the things that actually causes some of this is just fake news. You know, people who carry some rumors that does not exist. So some particular Yoruba somewhere, the Lupe somewhere, even within the Yorubas, even in our own state, you find out that we are fighting for irrelevant thing. Because most of the things that we're fighting for, number one, we want to fight on particularly on the domination, we want to fight on the land dispute. But the majority of this is land dispute is more than the traditional title over power. And when you look at some of these things, you discover that either we have just lost it, we have lost everything all. Either our sense of direction, I think we have lost it because there's no reason for us fighting ourselves. And because the sincerity in our environment, I think we have also lost it. There's no fear of God in what we are doing. And that's why I look at the things that, if we look at the issue of a conflict resolution, is a thing that is a very simple thing to resolve.
Okay, now, very simple thing to resolve. Maybe because you are an expert. Now, some people are investing interest by the day in, conflict resolution. We have quite a lot of conflicts. Could be on it could be a political reason. It could be land land disputes. Could be maybe traditional title. That could actually bring an uprise in a communal engagement in a bad light. Now, what are the strategies? You know it. You are an expert in this field, and I'm sure you've done some to some communities as far as this state is concerned. What are the strategies you adopt or you adopted, and what are other strategies you feel can work for anyone that wants to engage himself in such an act?
I want to look at from the youth perspective.
Okay.
Because I think we consider about 64% or 65% of our total population. And one of the strategies is that we need to look at the youth. The youth are the first people that we need to really get together. Because any community I go, the most important thing is for me to look at who is the youth leader, and how do we get the youth leaders engaged and all that, and how do we get the youth in that community. One of the first things is to have a meeting with them, to engage them and make them see the reason that if there are any conflict right now, it is you and I that are going to die, not the old people.
If fights should ensue,
it is the youth.
We don't get to see elderly people, involved in that. Youth will be the ones to carry,
because we are very much energetic, and we divert our intellectual capacity into unproductive area. That's the truth about it. And when you look at the strategy, when you look at the youth, then you look at the community leader, you also look at the religious leader. You see, you cannot neglect all these three components. Okay. The youth
leader,
okay, or the youth in the community.
Okay.
Then you now look at the traditional leaders.
Okay.
Either the Oba or the Magaji or whatever. Then you now have to look at the religious leader, because the religious leaders, they play a critical role on a weekly basis by reminding us, either on a Friday or a Sunday and all that. That's why they need to be carried along in the government, in the level of the governance level. They need to be carried along. The traditional ruler needs to be respected. They need to be given the role to play in their respective community, while the youth will also understand, because the traditional ruler live directly with the community,
with the people.
They know who and who can cause conflict in the environment, and they know how to tackle it. And that's why, most time we already put our program, our game, everything that yes, everything has to go to police. Those days you don't take any matter to police, you take it to the traditional ruler in that domain. So all those civilization is now taking away the good side of what we have and then embracing the Western world that does not provide solution to us. And in resolving conflict, there are strategies which are to be adopted. Number one, you must be able to put people in a round table to understand that no conflict is settled on the war front.
That's a dialogue?
Except on the round table. And which is just dialogue.
Okay.
So, and somebody to now learn how to massage the ego of those actors in the various communities. We must learn to massage their ego.
You massage the ego.
Yes. Wow. We must be able to do that. So when we do that, we'll be able to bring them down, that they'll be able to concentrate and listen to you and embrace what you have. So that's what I look at presently now. We must be very proactive in tackling conflict, not reactive. At times you hear some information, it could be bad, it could be wrong one, it could be the genuine, but as a people, we must really pay attention and see how they can be more proactive in tackling, because the best way to tackle conflict is not happen at all. Not solving, because what we are facing in the Northeast today, we are solving the conflict rather than to prevent it. So at the moment now, we must learn to prevent it from happening at all.
Okay.
Because when you look at even the cultural things of the thing too, also causing trouble, also causing conflict. We've seen that a few weeks ago in the Ukere local government, where we have a Google festival and all of that. But we have to we are very more proactive. So we quickly move in to see how we can forestall these damages. And that is why there's relatively
time also, I think last year, when two particular communities started having issues about who started the maybe Yam Festival before the other, and I look at it. Anybody can start. This is not just for you to eat yam.
You know, that's why I said that we must be able to find a way to massage egos.
Okay, ego.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will start about I am this, I am that. No, we must be able to do that. When we do that, then we'll be able to move to the next level, and that is why the government, has been very much active, very much proactive in tackling some of these things. There are some issues when it becomes difficult, then we have to just put a stop of that particular thing to happen. If you can't get yourself together, then we have to just put a sanction on that. And when we put a sanction on that, it shows that yes, if it's important to you, you will come back within yourself and say, yes, we have agreed, we have resolved to live together, and this is how we want to live. But if that cannot happen, then we leave it or not. Because that's why the culture was supposed to be another way of making money, another revenue generation to our community or to the government. Then it's now becoming another ugly issue, which government is very careful about that. So because we are more concerned about what to bring, how do we increase the revenue, not how to spend the revenue into one particular area in solving conflict. So it's a collective responsibility for all of us to learn to live together. To look at those issues that we are seeing as a different, just one issue, but how we see it, as we see in a different way. And by the time we see it in a different way, that's what now trigger most of this conflict in our environment. Because what we are fighting for is just one thing. All we need to do is just for us to sit down together and iron out the issues. And the court, even the court to itself, cannot solve the issue. I look at some of the communities in court and all that. I advise some of them to drop it, because when you come back to court, you can never be friend. So there are issues that we can actually solve within ourselves. When the court, court cannot solve the problem. It is us. It is what we agree that will bring the lasting peace. And when you look at some of these, even though in the place where we think we have resolved the conflict, how do we sustain it?
I was just about to
It's a capital intensive to sustain conflict. But I think the government must wake up in investing in how to sustain conflict, in different communities. How do we avoid it?
Then how do we sustain it? I'm asking you that.
Sustaining sustaining it, number one, I think is engagement, regular engagement.
Okay, what kind of engagement?
And engagement is that number one is that there must be different activity that will keep the youth busy.
Such as?
Number one, when we talk about jobs, it's not about civil service job.
Okay.
It's about something. It's about coming with an idea that can be more of benefit to the entire community. In terms of business idea, in terms of sporting activities. Because when you look at the sporting activity, because when we are looking about the conflict, it's not about of my age. But we're looking at people from 20 years old, below 20 and all of that. How do we keep their mind busy? And sport is one of the first things.
Yes.
And in sporting is that if the government can invest heavily on sport, I can assure you that in the next 4 or 5 years, we will have reduced the conflict to the barest minimum.
Because right there on the pitch, you forget that this person is from. Let's say I'm from Oko and you are from.
You've never seen a Super Eagle.
Okay.
You've never seen a Super Eagle that an Igbo man score.
Okay.
And Yoruba man keep quiet. That's because the Igbo man.
Everybody jubilates at the end of it.
It is Super Eagle is in Nigeria at that moment.
I see.
So that kind of spirit, that is what needs to that spirit needs to be translated in all our national dailies.
Okay, that's one part of sustainability. Sustaining the peace that if you are able to resolve issues between maybe a particular community, those are part of activities that one can really.
Yes, it's a mechanism that it has to keep going. It's like you're having a machine that you need something to propel it.
Okay.
So we need the youth, you need the sporting activities, you need the economic prosperity, you need the
like a win-win situation.
Win-win situation, you give me this and you get this.
You get this, okay.
So, but if they are idle and all of that, they can. But again, even when you look at there are a lot of ways where we can assist ourselves within the community. And when you look at it even from the religious aspect, that's why we have Sadaka and all of that, the Zakat and all of that. It's to help the poor, because the rich will not be able to sleep without if the poor are not also comfortable in their own little way. So we must look at ourselves as one and see how we can help each other.
Engage people
positively.
Okay. Now, Nigeria, finally, well, I think you've actually touched virtually all the areas highlighted earlier on. Now, we have, I believe part of what we can settle issue, if we want to settle, we say let's settle discourse between us. Sometimes it is through dialogue. If you have talked, if you have, maybe that's why we have, if a nation versus nation, that's why we have Ministry of State and Foreign Affairs. Yeah. And then if we want to settle issues we have
Ministry of Internal Affairs too.
Yes, Internal Affairs. Yeah. Then let's settle it. Okay, this land belongs to me. This one, okay, let's fight. We have Ministry of Defense. Don't you think there is need for this nation to have Ministry of Peace?
It is, it's more than necessary. We need to have a ministry dedicated, even at the state level. Okay. Either Peace Commission, even though if we can't afford to have a ministry for that, we can have a Peace Commission, which I think I made that, I wrote a report on that. Okay. So just sometimes ago when I was doing an interagency conflict resolution and all that, where we need to see ourselves as one, because when we have a Peace Commission, we will be able to have an agency or a commission that does nothing other than resolving conflict at different levels.
Thank you so very much, Umar Balogun. Umar Balogun is a special assistant on conflict resolution to the Executive Governor of Kwara State. It's a pleasure having you here once again. I'm sure you have a particular NGO.
Yes, the Lador Peace Initiative, so it's run even after the government. It's been existing before the government.
We must thank you so very much at this point in time for coming on the show. Some other time we'll bring you on, maybe looking at different topic, this same topic in a different way. Once again,
it's all my pleasure.
We appreciate you. Okay, Money Safari it is, and it's about time for us to go into the other segment of the program, which is entertainment and sport.